What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So it's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen soon. Here's what we know. The Senate tonight is gonna vote on that debt ceiling increase. This is gonna actually give the government funding, gonna allow us to pay our debts, to pay our current obligations until roughly December 3rd. In order to do this, we actually have to see a debt ceiling increase of $480 billion. So that's exactly what we're gonna get. Now, this is just pushing this back. It's just pushing back this event of potential default back into December, to December 3rd. So that's not great news. The White House has mentioned this before. We're just kicking the can down the road. However, according to reports, kicking the can down the road and dealing with it later on is a better solution than what could happen in just 11 days when we would have defaulted on this debt. So now, the vote is supposed to happen tonight, but even if it gets delayed, doesn't matter, right? This vote is going to pass. According to all expectations from both Republicans and Democrats, this will have enough votes. Right now, we know of 7 Republicans in the Senate that will vote yes on this bill. The other 43, we do not know who is going to be the other 3 voters that will get this over the 60 vote minimum. However, according to Senator Mitch McConnell, this is something that is gonna get done. We are gonna see this pass. He's hard pressed to figure out who the other 3 voters are going to be because many of them are still trying to figure this out themselves. So, the good news is, once this passes, this means Social Security checks are still gonna go out. You don't have to worry that you're gonna miss your checks. The child tax credit payments will still go out. You will not see any delays there. The stock market's not going to crash. And I know a lot of people, say, we don't have money to invest in the stock market. And I understand that. Okay, I understand having money right now is difficult. However, there's a lot of people here in the community. They're not, still investing into the stock market. However, they are taking disbursements. They are using the stock market to hopefully be able to continue their retirement. So that's the reason why I continue to bring up the stock market, because many people are impacted by it. So if those people that are currently invested in the stock market and were worried that the markets may crash, their retirement account would go to almost nothing, don't worry, you should be okay, because it doesn't look like we're going to default. That's good news. So this means we can just continue forward. Now, lawmakers are moving forward, but they're moving forward with their attention now focused on the human infrastructure bill. The reports earlier today indicated that this was pretty much one of the only options left to take Mitch McConnell's deal on the debt ceiling increase, and just a short time frame, just 2 months. And the reason why is because many people were saying, we can't carve out the filibuster. We cannot change the filibuster rules. What was actually being discussed is to carve out a section of the filibuster where it didn't actually address the debt ceiling and debt limit. But that was something that they realized they couldn't do. They didn't have the support from that. It still needed 60 votes. However, the problem is it didn't actually have Senator Joe Manchin's vote. And so that was a big issue there. So we'll see what happens, or actually need 50 votes, not 60. But that was an issue. It didn't have all 60 votes or 50 votes. It only had 49. So any change at that point just didn't have the support. So Democrats had to move on, and they have one less option. So that is the reason why they went with the debt ceiling increase that Mitch McConnell gave them. Now, here's the arguments over the Build Back Better Act. This is a human infrastructure bill. The argument right now is many are asking, how can the plan address the nation and provide for all the priorities that President Biden says needs work if lawmakers' plan is to also cut the spending by 50%? That's the question. Some lawmakers state that they support the framework of the bill. They support the ideas within it, but they cannot support a top-line figure that keeps dropping. They do not understand. Okay? They say that trying to provide the same amount of benefits, the same piece of legislation, but with less funding, it won't work. It won't address the real crisis that we are facing. They also argue that the human infrastructure bill needs more work. it needs much more work or will actually cause more harm than good. Here's the reason why they say that. According to experts, they say if you provide funding, let's say for 10 different priorities, fine, that's great, but as long as the priorities are fully funded. But if you provide those 10 priorities with half the funding that they really need, either you're going to have administrative issues, you're going to have future funding problems, it's not going to last the years that you hope it's going to last. So there's going to be issues down the road. And some say it's actually going to cause more harm than good, because all these people that are going to be pretty much relying on these different benefits, all of a sudden the benefits just stop for whatever reason, and there's no indication that's going to happen early on. This could harm many people and many families. So they're saying this is not something that we want to go down, or the road that we want to go down. But let me ask you this. Out of these two different options, do you think the progressive plan of keeping the same amount of policies in the bill, keeping the funding the same per year, but shortening the duration of time that these programs are in place, do you think that's a good idea? Or option number two, do you think the best plan is to cut out certain pieces of legislation and keep the funding the exact same, not shorten it, not cut it back? Do you think that would be the best option? Let me know down in the comment section below. Now, here's some big things that are happening tomorrow. The main one, this is going to happen in the morning, 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Pacific Standard Time. It's actually 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here's what we know. The September jobs report will be coming out. This is going to be big. This is going to be telling as to how we've been doing and where we go from here. According to the Washington Post, people with a college degree all got their jobs back so far. Those without a college degree are still 4.5 million jobs short from the pre-pandemic levels. Yes, they are still short 4.5 million jobs. Now, Black women is the one group that has recovered the least. It's struggling the most. Okay? Blacks are still struggling. Women in general struggling. And then you put the two together, it makes it very difficult. So that's what lawmakers are looking at. They're looking at all these different stats and this data that comes in. What we are currently seeing is that also small business owners, they are struggling to fill their open positions. About 51% of small business owners say they can't fill their open positions, and that is actually up 1% from last month. Again, it's not looking great. Some economists believe that the reason why this is happening is because, number one, more baby boomers are retiring. They see the markets are up, they're doing well, so they want to cash in. They're selling their homes, they're selling different items that they have, RVs and things like that, selling second homes, just getting the cash that they can and try to live off of it. It's a good idea. They also say that the younger generation of people are more inclined to work from home and want to control their time better. They're not willing to go work 40 hours a week and trade their time for money. That's how the younger generation is thinking. And a lot of businesses, and I know this for a fact because I do it as well, instead of hiring people in-house to do certain jobs and paying them as an employee, I pay them as a freelancer. Okay, so I'm not actually hiring them myself, through my company. I pay them, on the pretty much as their own, business, their own entity. And so by doing this and outsourcing jobs, it really helps. So this is what a lot of businesses have decided to do. So instead of having all these people working in-house, they're just outsourcing the jobs to the same people, but they are having their own business. So it makes it a little bit different, but there's more businesses popping up, but people are not going back to work. So a lot of issues there. But I'm just curious. Yeah, I'm curious on this fact. How many of you work online or from home? I'm just wondering because I started back in 2006. So over 15 years ago, I started working online for myself. Absolutely love it. It was one of the best decisions I ever made. But I'm just curious, how many of you actually do the same thing? And if you do, let me know what you do. Maybe you're a freelance writer. Maybe you sell retail products, on Etsy or Amazon or eBay, whatever. Let me know what it is you do. I'm curious. Now, here's something else that we're hearing today. Multiple countries, and this is something we've been kind of seeing the signs of over the past few weeks, but multiple countries are now saying that they will only give children 12 years and older one vaccine. Just one. Now, when I say one vaccine, I mean one dose, not one particular one, just one dose. Here's the reason why. They're not going to give the second dose of the vaccines because they say that's where all the complications are coming from, is from the second dose. So if you just give one dose, these children, or older children, preteens, I guess, they would still be somewhat vaccinated. They still have the vaccine, but what they're saying is that they're not fully vaccinated until the second dose. However, they will still have some immunity, just not all of it. Now, I don't know the exact details. I promise I will figure that out. I will find those numbers, what the efficacy rate is for just one dose of Pfizer or Moderna. But that's kind of what we're seeing. Now, I don't want to jump the gun because I don't think the United States is going to do this. However, I've been wrong before. So we will see what happens. But as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share more. Just want to thank you guys for watching. I wanted to provide you with this quick little update. If you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. But again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.